This episode and the entire year of episodes is proudly brought to you by California Cryobank. Use code LOVEISLOVE for a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog. Make those babies and then come talk to me about them.
The Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
That is so fucking lesbian.
I know. I'm a social worker and she's a homicide detective, and it's just such a gay situation.
So it's so lesbian. It is so lesbian. Oh, welcome, y'all, to the Queer Family Podcast, the show all about family, but with gay. I am your gay host, Jamie, and this is the show that celebrates, highlights, uplifts, and normalizes LGBTQ families and all of our fabulously, gorgeously, beautiful identities. And this episode's a fun one, y'all, because I got to sit down with Caitlyn. Caitlyn is the mastermind behind the social media account, 2 Ladies and 2 Babies. She does it with her wife and their 2 boys. And I've interviewed Caitlyn before, actually. And if you want to hear her full story with her wife, actually, it's season 16, episode 5. So you go back and listen to that because it's a fun conversation about how they built their family and just a little bit about them in a nutshell. And if you want to hear about how they built their family, go listen to that one. Because in this episode, Caitlyn and I just sit down and have a wonderful gay convo as gay moms. And a lot of you might not even know this at this point because this show's been on for quite some time now. But when this show first started, it had a different name, If These Ovaries Could Talk. And I started it with a co-host and co-founder. And for a very long time, it was the 2 of us who hosted. And it was fun because we got to banter back and forth and we laughed a lot and had fun even when interviewing our guests. And I miss that. I miss that sometimes. Sometimes it's lonely just being me and myself and I in these intros as the solo host. And so I wanted to bring you an episode where it's just me chatting with someone and talking about parenting and talking about the things that come up as moms with the queer perspective always at the forefront. So this is just a chat about parenting and showing up in this world through a gay lens. Through a gay mom lens. And I think it's fun and it's an important conversation. And we talk a lot about social media and how social media has or hasn't changed and how the trolls have gotten since the new governmental regime has come in and made all these weird executive orders. And we talk a lot about how it's important that we continue to show up now more than ever, it feels like, because representation does matter. And, as hard as it can be to show up and as scary as it can be right now, Caitlyn and I talked a lot about how we feel good that we continue to show up and we will continue to do so. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Caitlyn. We laughed a bit and I really tried to keep this a lighthearted episode like I used to. We used to do whole episodes where all we did was laugh and make jokes and stuff. And that was my plan with this one. But for some reason, I know what the reason is. With this governmental regime, somehow I always end up talking politics lately. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So we do get into just the state of the world a little bit too. But I hope you enjoyed it. It's fun. Anyway, so I'm just going to roll the tape for you so you can enjoy a little laughter and a little banter from 2 gay moms who enjoy chatting with each other. And I hope y'all are staying safe out there and taking care of your hearts and your mental spaces. All right, that's enough. All right, let's go. Let's roll the tape. Helen, Beulah, I need you to put your cigarettes down for 1 second and just press roll the tape. Just kidding. I don't actually have assistants named Helen and Beulah. It's just a joke that started with my previous co-host, Robin, and has continued. So they will stay as characters. Jerson, can you please roll this tape? Let's go.
Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Hi, Caitlyn.
Hey there.
I feel like I should call you a different name just to be cool with Wanda, your wife, who's not Wanda.
You can call me whatever you want. She calls me plenty of things.
I'm sure she does. Listen, you guys are really funny on social media, and you really give it to her. So every time she gets back at you, I'm happy for her.
I know. Everybody's always like, you're so mean to her, blah, blah, blah. I'm the one who films, so you see a lot of it, but she gets me back pretty often.
She does, and I appreciate that about the two of you. You have a good sense of humor with each other, and that makes me happy. Now that we've kind of alluded to a little bit of who you are, you've been on the show before, so everybody should know you. And if they don't, they're not listening and they're not being diligent. So go back and listen. But let's do this. Let's do your 30-second elevator pitch of who you are and why you're here talking to the Queer Fam Squad. On your mark, get set, go.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Caitlyn. I am married to a woman who I call Wanda, but that's not really her real name. We have 2 little boys who we created in a science experiment like the rest of you queer folks might have done. And we do social media. We started it during COVID just to be silly, and it's grown into a platform that allows us to connect with a ton of people. And we just are trying to mess with each other. We're unpolished and unfiltered and fun. So you should follow. 2 ladies and 2 babies.
You should. You should follow because they are a lot of fun. And you take all the normal moments of parenting and you make me chuckle. And I appreciate that. There was one video.
Oh, God.
I still laugh when I think about it. It's just because you think of the funny things to say about what the kid is doing. And that's fun because it's fun to make fun of our kids. Let's be real. But it was one video where one of your kids, and you have 2 boys.
Yes. One
of your boys, I don't know if it was, because it's probably a really old video too, but it's popular. So it keeps coming up. He's like stumbling around the house and you wrote on it like every drunk sorority girl.
Yes, he is every drunk sorority girl because he had put on my wife's boots. He can't walk in them. He's like throwing himself on the ground. He just looks like he came from a night out and like a bad night out. Like he's in terrible shape.
But there's so many clips. It keeps going. Like the first one, I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's clever. But then there's more. Then there's more. And then he's like, rah, sure.
Yep. Just belligerent. And what's sad is that is his baseline. Like he's always like seemingly drunk sorority girl.
But it's fun because it takes all those moments that we see them all the time. And a lot of times we're like, get up, let's go, put your shoes on, let's get out the door. We don't stop and see the funny in it. So I appreciate your account because it reminds me to stop and see how really freaking ridiculous all of this parenting nonsense is and can be. So I appreciate the humor in that. It makes me laugh.
Thank you. I'm glad that you have the twisted sense of humor that I do because some people don't like it and they're like, you need to do this and that. I'm like, just enjoy your kids. You're seeing a snippet. Like, it's fine.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work to put those clips together and all the stuff. So I appreciate it.
It's a lot of work to keep my kids alive.
Yes. Yes. It really is, all of them. And I am the first person, like I call my kids a-holes all the time. I just, okay, my little a-holes.
Yeah.
And people do take offense to that, I'm learning. But I don't mean it like I think they're real assholes. They are sometimes.
I do. I'm just kidding.
They are.
Yeah.
They are so selfish. And it's okay for us to talk about it. And I think that you need to have your parent friends that you can be real and honest with about how crazy they make you. And with no judgment. No judgment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, mindful mama, I don't care about how mindful you are sometimes. Sometimes we have to make fun of them and laugh at them.
Oh, 100%. And so my wife had our first one. We did IUI, and then I did IVF. We used the same donor and had our second one. So Remy's the oldest. He's almost 5 and Van's 2.5. They are so different. It is like insane. It is wild. The little one is mean. And he's the one I made. And so I'm like embarrassed sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, he's so bad. And we're on his ass about stuff. But he doesn't care. He just does whatever he wants to do. And he only cares about what makes him happy. And our oldest is like, I did this for you, mama. I'm like, oh, thank you, sweet angel. And then the little one's like, ah. It's just totally different kids.
It's so funny. And we have the same kind of situation with the same donor, but each gave birth. And I'm happy to say that the one I gave birth to is kind of the sweeter one. But he's turning into a little jerk too now. So, like, I don't know. They're pretty even Steven. Yeah. And my daughter knows how to behave around other people. So she looks like the angel in front of everyone else. So I don't know who's winning here. And then she gets behind closed doors. And it's like, what did you just say to me? What did you just say? I need you to say that to me again. You know, she's 11. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even looking forward to teenage years. Like, whew, I'm so scared for myself. We do kid of the day. So like, I will be like, okay, you're kid of the day right now, because the little one's like throwing himself out or the big one's doing something. I'm like, okay, you're kid of the day right now. And so my oldest one will ask, he's like, was I kid of the day today? I'm like, do you think that you were kid of the day? And he's like, I don't think so. Maybe tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, okay, good. Something to live up to.
Yeah, my 7-year-old will be like, Mama, remember that time Rose threw the chair across the room and you were like so mad at her? I'm like, we're not talking about that right now, Orion. You're the one. You're the one who did the wrong this time, Yeah. But Mama, remember when Rose? Oh, these children.
Oh.
I've been excited to chat with you just because, it's just fun to chat with you. And it's a little bit different because we're not going to like drive into your whole fertility journey because we've already done that. And if you haven't listened, go listen. It's from I believe you were the first Pride extravaganza, the two of you. I'm going into our third this year, Pride extravaganza. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we need as much pride as possible these days.
Yes, we do. And that's kind of why we initially wanted to chat, because when we first like reconnected, I mean, we connect on DMs here and there, but like when we first really reconnected about you coming in again, TikTok was about to be banned and that was your main account. And I believe it still is, unless it has, and it was a really scary time. Also the election and all the things and all this. So we were like, all right, let's get together and let's just talk about all this. Now it turns out TikTok is still here.
Maybe.
Which also I want to pick your brain on that because I'd like to know, do you feel like your audience is the same? Are you noticing a difference in TikTok?
Honestly, a lot of people are saying like, I feel like things are different. Ours doesn't seem super different. We have a very engaged following. So the people that we have, like, I'm all in conversations with them all the time. I get a lot of private messages. I get a lot of like back and forth and comments. So I'm very intentional about connecting with my audience. And I think that has helped me retain my folks. And then we've had a few videos that went super viral recently. And so we've brought a lot of new folks in, but
nice.
The vibes are still good for the most part. I mean, when you have something go viral, you'll get all these types of people who maybe do not align with you. But what's cool is a lot of my people back us up. And so we get a lot of defense in our comments. So that has been helpful. But I think it has stayed similar for my account, at least.
I think for mine too, actually. It's actually really interesting. And I don't have nearly as big of a following as you, but I have
not on there, but I'm sure through all of your stuff combined.
Well, I'm not anywhere close to you. So
whatever, yes you are. In my head, you're past me.
Thanks for blowing smoke up my butt.
Look at all the awards behind you. Like, I have nothing. I have a flag on a stand, okay, to cover my kitchen table.
You could get an award, I'm sure. You just have to find the awards for social media. I'm sure they're out there. I'm not getting any awards for social media. However, so TikTok. So one of my posts where my family and I were like dancing about Kamala running was a big one for us. And that is the only thing on TikTok. And this was wild. This was way before TikTok was possibly even going to get banned. That was the only post I made on TikTok where I got a lot of trolls, Trump supporter trolls. That's the only thing. And I went back and forth with them, but they just helped it like grow, which was great. So, and it did great and it was wonderful. But I got a lot of hate on TikTok that one time. Everything else on TikTok is all queer. I get a lot of queer love on TikToks, on social media, and great comments, kind comments. And I thought it would be different. And I've seen people, like you said, on TikTok saying, I don't know what happened to my queer community. It's gone. If you type this in the search box, it doesn't show up. I haven't seen that so much.
I think that also might be a way to just engage. Like, I think that's like a tactic that they're like, hey, is anybody gay? Like, just to see if people will do something. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure I put one of those up. Like, hey, if you're queer, come here. So I haven't noticed a huge difference in TikTok. What I have noticed is Meta. Now, Facebook was always awful for me. I don't even post that much on Facebook anymore just because I have guests also that I'm protecting. And if I get a lot of hateful comments, sometimes I can't even keep track because there's so many.
Yeah.
And then I'm not being able to protect my guests. So I have to be careful.
That.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You know what it's like if you get trolls, they're like killer bees. They're like a swarm of hornets that just one comes and then they're all there and they don't back off. So if one person flags the post, I suppose, then there's hundreds of comments. And once it happens, it's really hard to go through and like delete everything.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. But that says a lot about you because we do brand deals and we'll have brands that will push, a branded video. And I'm talking like larger brands.
Yeah.
And they won't do anything about the comments. So they will let us just get butchered. I'm like, you decided to use us because we were a queer family. Yeah. But then you won't support us or protect us. So I think that has been a little bit eye-opening. I did not expect that. Like there's no filtering of the comments unless it's a negative thing about them.
And you don't have control because it's a brand deal?
We do have control. I can delete comments. But when you have a video that they push out to like 28 million people, then the volume of it is huge. But I can tell like they're not doing a thing.
They should have somebody on staff, on salary, whose main job, their only job is clapbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
And filtering. Like,
and they could hire a queer man to do a great job of that.
Oh my God, let's get a drag queen in here and let's kill the clapbacks. Because I try to clap back. And the other day I was like on ChatGPT, like, all right, this person wrote this. Give me a really good clap back. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's awesome.
No, yeah. And
I love the effort level to just be an a-hole back. Like, that is brilliant.
But then I feel guilty because I'm using AI. And then somebody wrote, you're just a bot. And I'm like, you're a bot.
Good one, Jamie. I love that.
Yeah, but it doesn't end. Clapping back doesn't work. That's why they need somebody paid to literally sift through them and clap back and flag the ones and block the ones and report the ones that are really scary and harmful, because those come at us too. So Facebook has always been terrible for me. And now recently, this week, Instagram has become a minefield for hate for me on my page. I don't know about what you experience.
So Instagram has changed their policies surrounding harassment and bullying. So it has opened a lot more up. So we probably just were blinded because we didn't see a lot of these things. But what's really, really funny is like I can post something simple on TikTok. A friend of mine commented on like a deodorant ad or something. And I was like, yucky, stinky Lauren. And they freaking removed it. And I got a violation. I'm like, that's my friend. And she is yucky and stinky. So like, and she said it too. But it's funny. I can have someone say the most egregious things about me on Instagram, and they're like,
they let it be. They let it sit.
Yeah.
It is insane. And then, so this week I got
some algorithm screwed up.
Hornets came at me and I was doing a whole clapback thing. And then the next day they kept coming and I was tired. So I was like, all right, now I'm going to go through and report like the really bad ones. I went to try and report. And it took me to, if you go through Meta's help, it's a minefield of just, you can't get anywhere.
It's
so it
awful.
took me to like the help page for how to report someone. And the guidelines in the help page are, you can report, but sometimes it's better just to let it be. Is it really worth your mental health to report this person? Think that through before you think of victim shaming. Like,
oh my
what?
God, that is so classic.
And then I was like, fuck that, I'm reporting. And then I couldn't figure out how to do it.
I'll teach you offline because you need to be able to do that to protect yourself.
Right. But maybe you just can't do it on the desktop because I was trying to do it on my computer.
Oh, see, I don't ever do it on the desktop. I do it all from my phone. And it's pretty simple to do it from there.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to make clapback videos. I have all these ideas. And like, okay, this person said this.
Yeah.
But then I get tired of it. It's just too much. It's hurtful. And there's only so much you can take with it,
We accidentally got on old white lady who has horrible sense of view version of Instagram. So I've been getting, because a lot of our videos, like recently I had one go insanely viral, like the most viral I've ever had, like 20 some million.
You just get things to go viral like crazy, like it's your job.
Not all the time, but like when something really hits, like this was our biggest one ever. And so it gets pushed out to these people who haven't seen you before and they aren't part of your like little club bubble. And so we've been getting like a lot of these like middle-aged white ladies who are like saying all this crazy stuff about our parenting. And I'm like, woman, who is your kid now? He probably lives in your basement. So like, don't give me advice on how to parent. And I even have to put in our descriptions, reminder, this is a chopped up video. This does not show the entire scenario of what happened. And this is a snippet of parenting. Like edited to be funnier. And our kids are fine. People still freak out. And I have to comment back. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, Martha. It turns out you can't read, huh? That's very sad. Hope you can read this comment. Like, I'll just do like really passive aggressive, crappy stuff back.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And everything you do to clap back really just falls on deaf ears because you can't fight with ignorant. But I still try.
But if you kill them with like a weird kindness, it's funny because I'll just be like, oh, I love you too. Have a blessed day. Like, just to piss them off. It makes me feel better.
You talk to Jesus like you just talked to me? Oh, God. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a scary world we live in as queer folks right now, to be quite honest. Very scary. And, you know, I acknowledge my privilege. I show up in the world cisgender. Like, I don't think you would know I'm gay just seeing me walk down the street. So in that respect, there's a lot of privilege there. But there are many people who can't hide and get shamed all the time. And so I've made it my mission to like try to speak up for everyone and not and be a squeaky wheel. And it's exhausting sometimes. So I love talking with other people who are out there in the public, even more so than I am, just being a squeaky wheel and just normalizing our families.
Yeah.
Because that's how we're going to win this. We have to be out there. We have to show them, oh no, we're just like you. Yeah. My hallway is just as messy as yours by the door. Like there's a lot of shoes there. It's a shit show. And we're the same.
I've gotten a lot of comments and even DMs from people who are like, hey, you're the first queer family or lesbian mom that I've ever seen. And I get it now. And it's really cool because it's like our original purpose for creating our social media was during COVID, we couldn't see our families and we had a brand new baby. And so we were, wanting to share stuff. And then it blew up. And so now it's kind of transitioned into, this advocacy, this normalizing, this just having fun and showing people that we're literally just as goofy as y'all. We're all fighting for our lives, doing our best. And we're trying to create the next generation of good humans. Like, what's wrong with that?
Their idea of a good human might be very different from our idea, a little empathy and stuff.
Yeah. Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. But yeah, and the whole myth that woke people are bad. I am all about being woke now. I'll tell everybody I'm woke AF. This is woke. And if woke looks like this, let me show you. Let me show you what woke looks like. Look how sweet my kids are when they're not being assholes to me. And, We'll be right back.
Queer Family Podcast, love is love.
Okay, I just want to interrupt for one brief moment to talk about our sponsor of this here episode, California Cryobank, and to share with you my code for a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog. You're just going to use code LOVEISLOVE when you go to cryobank.com, and you're going to get a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog so you can start shopping if you're interested in using donor sperm as a way to build your family. You can also use that code for a discount on a level 3 subscription, which gives you even more information about each donor. And it's just worth it to go give it a look. And I love California Cryobank. One of the reasons is because both of my children were made through California Cryobank. And the customer service is awesome there. I used it personally myself. And they've also really been doing the work to support the LGBTQ community. And I think now more than ever, it is very important to support businesses that support the LGBTQ community, especially the ones who keep showing up for us. So go check them out. Go to cryobank.com, use code LOVEISLOVE, and get that free level 2 subscription. Let's make the babies. Let's keep building our families so we can normalize the crap out of our families and keep showing up. All right, make those babies, y'all. Then come tell me about them.
Love is love.
I don't know. I'm so scared when I think about the state of our country right now, and what is it, 8 or 9 states have just issued. I don't even know. I don't know what the legal jargon is called, but issued things to try to overturn same-sex marriage. Obergefell
versus Hodges, I think.
Yes, and that's within the last 3 days. 8 states. One started it, and now we see where you're going here. We see what's. I feel like we're in Handmaid's Tale, and sooner or later it's gonna hit everyone. But all these people are just turning a blind eye and being so dumb.
I know. I mean, honestly, I completely agree because it's like I've talked to people who are close to me, but vote very differently for me.
Yeah.
And I've had to explain the issues that you voted for do not necessarily align with the reasons for why I voted the way that I voted. So you have to think about, you know, you're talking about like this was your priority. But by doing that, you are also saying that like my marriage isn't important to you, my right to exist isn't important to you, my right to non-discrimination, my right to my own family, like none of that matters. And if you look at it in terms of like the whole, isn't that so much bigger than like a financial thing or something like that? But apparently not, because the financial part's not even going well either. So
no, and I saw that coming. But like,
right?
Yeah, that's what we hear all the time. Yeah, it's purely financial. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah, well, then you don't care. You don't care about me or my family at all.
Yep.
And
much higher stakes.
Right, and you don't have those high stakes because you're not being threatened right now. And when you are threatened, guess who's going to be there for you? Me. Because I know what it feels like. That's called empathy. That's called compassion. That's called thinking about all the other people who live in this world with you. Yeah. But it takes like getting knocked down to see it, I guess. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with us.
Well, because it's so self-centric. It's just all about preservation of self and their access to resources and things. But there is just no... Like I was called a socialist. I was like, okay, is that bad? Like,
right.
Really, like define that. Like, I care about everybody. Okay, darn.
It's so funny.
I'm also a social worker. Like, duh.
Also, I'm not sure. Like, people throw that word at me all the time too. I'm not even sure they know what it means. They just know that it's considered something bad. I swear to God. Like, I'll be like, I know that I am very far left. I'm probably more left than most people in this room. I know it. I lean left. If you want to find the most left-leaning opinion in the room, it's probably going to be me. That's just the way it is. And I had a close friend to me say, what is it? Are you socialist then? And this was somebody like on my side. I'm like, no, I just, no. I don't even know.
Who cares? I mean, I think that there's all these terms that get thrown around and nobody actually like understands what the root definition actually means. But if that means that I care about everybody, and I'm looking at greater good versus, you know, self-centric good, then okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That doesn't hurt.
Yeah. And, you know, I saw somebody made a video about like when people ask me like, so you want to pay for that kid's lunch whose parents don't work and you want to pay for that family's medical bills? He was like, yes, actually, yes, I do.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I do.
So, and you know why the parents don't have jobs? Because they were federal workers and got laid off.
Right.
Who are going to then need to apply for benefits because they're unemployed. So think about that. There's no perspective on like zooming out on the entire situation. And that I think is where the gaps are.
You know, hopefully he blows things up so much, Orange Puff Co. and Shalon Tusk. Hopefully they blow things up so terribly that everyone is like, oh my God, we have to fix the shit show. That's like what I'm hoping for now. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to hope for because they keep going, and eventually it's going to hurt everyone. Everyone will be hurt by, except the 1%ers, perhaps.
Yeah, I think the problem is even they could do anything, but the media will be spun, the story will be spun, the reason will be the previous administration set that up. Like it will be, there's never like true ownership of fault.
Right. Right.
Or there's reality. Like you take a whole conversation that this man puts out and like actually listen to the things he says. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, did you hear what he said? He said that like 4 different ways and none of them coincide with what he said. Like it is wild to me. People hear what they want to hear. They believe what they want to believe.
Yeah. He said that he was going to turn the Gaza Strip into the new Mediterranean. Like, what the fuck?
Like, and where do you even come up with this? Whatever he's on,
so
if they make it in
crazy.
an edible, I would like to do it one weekend at my house and just see what that feels like because he is beyond out of his mind.
Oh God, it's all a mess. It's all a mess. It's all a mess.
Scary.
It's nice to have folks like you and families like you out there being brave and normalizing it and just showing up. Because even just showing up is risky right now. That's what it feels like. Like I share my kids on social media from time to time. You share them a lot and I share them a good amount. I'm getting nervous about it because I don't want anybody coming. Somebody wrote in the comments, put your daughter in a ring with me and then we'll see where you stand on trans athletes. Like threatening my daughter. My daughter wasn't even in the video. Like these people are crazy. And if they find me or my kids, like that scares the shit out of me. Don't threaten my kids. Don't threaten my kids. This is my agenda. It's not theirs. So
people will ask us that too. Like, how do you feel about your kids being on social media? I'm with my kids 24/7. So like if I'm in a restaurant, I'm gay at the restaurant with my kids. Still gay, still with my kids. So it's like, I don't want to take away from the positives that happen because we have our presence, because people get to see how we parent, how we've taught these lessons, how our kids are so kind and funny and charming and open to things, where I didn't see that. I never saw that growing up. I didn't see that existing. And so it's like, I don't want to take away from the good that happens because of us just out of fear, because that's what they all want us to do.
It's freaky.
It's a slippery slope.
It is. And now my daughter is getting older and, you know, her friends are going to start getting social media and they already like, some of them have it, which I'm like, oh, what's wrong with it? Wait, nope, you're not. Nope. But they found my account and then they're like, ooh, I saw you in a video, Rose. And that is getting to be a little scary to me because I don't want it to affect her negatively just in her everyday life. Like, I don't ever want any of this hatred that's thrown towards us, especially on the other side of a screen. Yeah. I don't want that thrown towards my children. So
I get that totally.
It's a thin line. It's a slippery slope. But then at the same time, I want to show them how we are as a family and how this is like, we're a beautiful, beautiful, amazing family. And I want to show it off. And I love my kids. I love showing my kids off.
I completely understand. I totally get that.
It's crazy. It's just crazy that there's so much hatred out there.
It's wild. And YouTube is even scarier.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to transition to YouTube just as, you know, like a backup. And the comments over there, I don't have I have a pretty hefty following on TikTok, but like our YouTube is like, like barely getting traction. And the people over there are just different. So it's growing, but if y'all would please help the Two Ladies and Two Babies on YouTube,
go follow them on YouTube. While you're at it, follow this podcast on you. You can watch the video episodes on YouTube, y'all. Y'all don't need to just listen to the audio. I know actually a lot of us just prefer the audio, but get on there YouTube. I don't post much on YouTube. I just post the episodes at this point because there was so much hatred coming at us that I got tired. I got to start it up again. But yeah, it's like you're taking a risk every time you post anything. And then people would say, well, that's what you get for being in the public eye. Sure, it's true. But when they're attacking my identity and my family, it hurts more. And I feel really, really passionate about sharing stories about our families. So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it. But it hurts. It's awful. It's mean.
It's twisted.
Yeah, it really is. Anyway. But, you know, I guess everybody in the public, and I'm not in the public, I guess everybody faces scrutiny, and that's just what comes with it.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. Just don't attack my sexuality or my gender identity or my children in any way, because I will come for you.
Yeah. It's also like, why does it have to be so negative? Like, if you don't like something, leave it. Like, move on. Like, I have never been the type of person who like sees a video and is like, let me think of something awful. Like,
I know.
They get off on that. And it's so weird to me. Like, what a bizarre way to move around the world.
I have recurring trolls, like from post to post. I do. When I find, but there's like, sometimes I miss some and then I notice that, oh my God, they've been here all week, right? So I do not go on pages I don't like. If I see a page that is like supporting like MAGA paraphernalia, I scroll past it as fast as I can so the algorithm doesn't give me any more. I would never stay on a page I don't like, let alone comment on it. So what is sick in your head? What sickness do you have that you keep coming back for more when you hate it as much as you have made clear? Why do you keep coming back for more? I mean, they're all just closeted, right? That's what we have to get to. That's why they come back.
Oh, yeah, they are. They are. They're the ones sucking off all the senators. So, you know.
It's true. It's true. They got those glory holes for a reason.
Yeah. Everybody loves the airport bathrooms, from what I hear.
Do they still have those? I don't know.
I think so. Probably.
We need some gay guys up in here to tell us what goes
We'd
on.
have to ask.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So let's also talk about you're a boy mom. You're a boy mom 2 times over.
Yes.
What's that like for you?
And we wanted boys.
Oh, right.
We wanted
boys.
that. My wife wanted our second to be a girl, you know, if it happened, but like wasn't upset or anything. But I love a baby boy. I love a baby boy.
I do too. Now.
Yeah, now. But it's funny because my 2 are so wildly different. So like the little one is a little bit more the like machismo kind of kid who's like, you know, all dinosaurs and run around the house and attacking you for no reason. And then our oldest one, like 2 days ago, woke me up early and he's like, can you please paint my nails before school? I was like, sure. And we did each nail different color. His pattern choice was awful and none of it matched. But then like he's also wearing a Spider-Man outfit and goes to school and is like, you know, just as rough and tough as everybody else. But it's like they are so inherently different and raised by the same people and the same way. I mean, obviously you tailor your needs based on like how your kids' emotions are, but it is just so funny how different they can turn out. And then people don't necessarily understand like queer people probably came from straight people. And they were parented the same way as their siblings. So it's like, you know, kids are going to be fine as long as their parents are good humans.
Yep.
They're going to be fine.
Yeah. And they're surrounded by love. And that's really the formula right there.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of nurturing. All right. You also are going through some legal stuff to secure your family. Let's talk about it because it's an important topic. And one, I tell everybody that we all have to do this thing that you're doing. So what are you doing, Caitlyn? What's going on?
Yes. So I was going to joke and be like, we're being sued, but no, this is what we're doing. So we hear all the time that people are, you know, on the birth certificates and that should be fine for queer families. Like, oh, we're both on the birth certificate. That is not enough. That does not give you legal rights. And especially in the kind of world that we're in right now, it is a smart idea to get ahead of things and protect yourself. And you can file petitions to do what's called a second parent adoption. It is a very similar process, almost nearly identical to a step parent adoption. But a lot of folks are under the impression that they have to do it with an attorney, which will cost you thousands of dollars to do. And you don't have to file with an attorney. You can go to your circuit clerk office in the locality where you live and ask them what documents are required. And then you can do it yourself. So I've got over a decade's worth of adoption work professionally in my experience. So I knew how to do the petitions and things like that. But there's really only like 3 forms that you've got to do. It's not difficult. And I was able to file for both our kids for $189, where my friends did one child for $3,000 with an attorney.
We used an attorney for both of our kids, and I don't remember how much it was because it was a while ago, but it was expensive. And it took forever. And did you have to give like your last 12 years of where you lived and all the other things? I think it varies state to state.
No, requirements are going to differ by state, but like at the fundamentals of what you have to do, there's really only a couple documents that have to be filed. Now, I will say people who live in more rural areas, the court could recommend that the local social services or Department of Children and Families, whatever it's called in your place, they may ask them to do what's basically like a home study.
We did. But we had to.
We don't have to. So
where are you?
I'm in Central Virginia.
Interesting. And I'm in New York, Manhattan.
Yeah. So Virginia's kind of conservative too.
Interesting.
So it's really going to depend, you know, where you're at, what they're going to require. But even that process is not terrible.
No. So I actually interviewed the person who did our home study.
Cool.
And then I interviewed her first. And then I was like, can you do my home study? She was like, yes. She's a lesbian. She's a gay mom. Yeah. So it was really chill. And I have a whole episode. I think it's like season 2, if anybody wants to go way back, all about like how everybody freaks out and like the gay men would bake brownies and make the house smell like cookies and stuff. And she was like, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
I'm a mom. We're all, you know, we get it. We know. We're just making sure that, you know, I don't remember what she said, but it was really easy. And it was during the pandemic. So we got to do it on Zoom, which was even better. So
That's
I was like,
awesome.
and this is our kitchen, you know?
Yeah. 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 I used to do those reports. And so I I know what they are looking for and stuff like that. And it's really like just to make sure that you're not crazy. Like I had a couple situations where they were doing like sketchy immigration stuff. So those were ones that you were like, oh, this is weird. So, I mean, there's like things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty standard stuff. The times that I ever had to like really deny ones where it was like a step parent was trying to adopt the children and that would null and void the rights of the biological parent. And it wasn't appropriate in that type of situation. So there's all kinds of different scenarios, but perfect world, you might not have to do very much, but I would say try it yourself first before you dish out thousands with an attorney because it's a pretty simple process. Also,
I talked to a couple people who have used their friends' actual contracts and just copied them or whatever the stuff.
Yes, do that. The petitions and all that, like literally to get the formatting and then you just change the information to be your own.
Yeah. And then you just file it and you just make sure that you have to look at your state and find out what all the requirements are because some states require the home study. Some states require a lot of like background information. Like we had to fill in a lot of background information and that's what took us so long because I wasn't a traveling actor for so long. So it was like really hard for me to remember my background information.
That's the home study part.
That was the hardest part for us. So it took us way longer than it should have to get the second parent adoption done. But we did it because it's important and everybody needs to do it just in case. Just in case.
Yes. And if you're unclear, go to your circuit court office and ask them what is required, what do I need to do? And the clerk should be able to direct you.
And if your clerk gives you pushback, then maybe get a lawyer.
Yeah. Maybe if you're not great at this type of thing, go with a lawyer. Like I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just saying if you can financially save a little bit of money and get the same thing accomplished, it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's especially now, given what's going on and, same-sex marriage being challenged and all the things, just make sure your babies are safe.
Exactly.
That's first and foremost. It's a crazy world we're living in, but we have each other to lean on. And now more than ever, it is so important to find and create community.
Absolutely.
I spoke with this former senator yesterday who has like made all kinds of movements happen. And she's like on all the right sides and amazing. And
oh, that's cool.
What I really garnered from her mostly is that community means everything. Finding that community, engaging that community, and tenacity, and not stopping. Never shut up. Never, ever stop. She said that's what the other side has, and that's what they're really good at. And we're not as good at that as the other side. She said that in this interview, and that was mind-blowing to me. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I was like, I should have said something to that dad the other day. Damn it. Because I'm having like a battle in my school with this whole trans rights thing. And it's not cute. It's not fun. But now I'm like, okay.
That's disgusting. I hate that.
I know. I have to speak up even more. And I don't like speaking up. I'll do it here in my little room. But
yeah. Well, sometimes it's scary because it's like your own legit safety. Like you have to think about things. And I'm a very big protective person. Like I'm very, very good about being protective of others, but not so much myself always. Like I'll be like, it isn't even worth the battle or, it isn't even worth like opening the conversation. I went to the dentist and had a new hygienist and she's like, what does your husband do? And I was like, because I was like in Bumpkin Town. I'm like, I'm not even doing this. She's got sharp tools in my mouth. I ain't getting into this right now. But it's just weird. Like you shrink yourself.
You do. And I used to talk about this a lot. This hasn't come up a lot, but when the kids are around, that's when you realize how often you shrink yourself because you can't do that in front of them.
Right.
Like you have to correct them. You have to correct the person who says husband because your kids are listening.
Yeah.
That's when I started noticing, oh my God, I hide all the time. Like I let people believe what they want.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier. Also, sometimes I'm just lazy or sometimes I just don't want to talk to you. So I don't want to even open up that can of worms. Like, I don't need to talk to the taxi driver right now about being gay. I don't feel like coming out.
It's also tiring to always be the teacher of everything.
Right.
Like, I have to teach and educate and be the bigger person. Like sometimes I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just want to be the quiet gay person.
Yeah, I know. And it's starting to look more and more like we can't be that anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to roll us backwards. And we were sitting on the shoulders of so many great folks who really fought hard for us to get to where it felt like we were. And now they're trying to roll us backwards. And so now we have to take up the reins and like get that fight going again. And we're not well versed in it. It feels like we've been lazy. That's what it feels like for me. I should speak for myself. I've been lazy. I feel like I've never really had to fight for my rights. Yes, I've had things said to me, and yes, I've faced some bigotry, but in the last 2 years, I'll just say year, it has ramped up so much. And now I'm realizing what it really means to have to fight for your freedoms and your rights.
And you're in a big, cool city. You know, like there's people all over who have wildly different experiences. Even for me, like we're in Virginia, parts of it are really great and parts of it are really not great.
Right.
And it's so interesting. Everybody's lived experience is so wildly different. Their access to resources, their access to even have the ability to advocate and fight. And social media is a huge platform for all of us to be able to do that. And if we're not out there, at least in that capacity, then you're really not able to make an impact.
Right. Then you have no visibility. Then you don't see it. Then you think you need to hide more. So that's visibility really freaking matters. So we have to keep showing up, even despite the trolls. So if anybody claps back at me and says, well, you put yourself out there, I have to, bitch.
I have to. I am a martyr for the cause of the gays and the queers and the theys out here doing the gays' work.
It's a higher calling.
Yes.
Somebody recently was like, queerness is a higher calling. In an interview I did, I think of it as a higher calling. It is. We are called. We are. I was like, I like this. Let's keep going with this.
Yes.
We are the ordained.
Yep. And we picked up the phone and it was like, hey, sis, we need you out here doing some gay stuff. I'm like, all right, bet. I'll be there in 5. I've got my carabiner on. We're ready to roll.
Let's go. Riz, to use a term the kids use right now. Okay, skibbity. I don't know how to use these words that my daughter uses.
Oh my God, my nephew does all of that. Thankfully, my 4-year-old has not heard of these things yet.
No, not yet. You're not there yet. You're not. But now she says it, and she doesn't say it. She doesn't use the terms as much to us because we don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
But like we read her texts, we do look at her phone, and like so I'll see that she talks like that to her friends, which is funny. So then we'll do like a whole evening where we'll just speak to her in her terms. She gets so mad at us.
Her native language.
Yes. Okay, Rose, is that really Riz? And she's like, Mom, that's not even how you use it. Okay, skibbity. I can't even think of the others. It's so fun, though. I always thought I was going to be really up on the vernacular because I stayed up on the vernacular until like 2 years ago. Now it's these weird words that have no basis in any kind of reality. Like, what the hell is skibbity?
They're making up crap. They're messing with us. They are trolling us.
Yeah, they're assholes.
Yeah. Skibbity toilet that. How about that?
Ha. Okay, Riz. I don't know. That's all I can say. This has been like really awesome, and I love chatting with you always.
Likewise.
And you need to keep showing up and doing your stuff, and everybody needs to go follow
2 ladies and 2 babies.
I always just type in a 2 and I find you.
And it pops up. It usually does.
Yeah. 2 ladies and 2 babies all over the place. Just go follow them and then like put some nice comments in the midst of the mean ones if there are any. Or clap back. Just clap back for us.
and do some funny ones. I love a funny clap back. Like, oh, they make me so happy.
I love it when my listeners do some clap backs. They're always going to get a heart from me for that. But
yes.
Also, if it's painful for you, don't do it. You don't have to do it.
You have to do it on my account. No, I'm just kidding.
This is great. It's lovely. We have really just talked about just showing up in the world, and I appreciate you for that. So thanks. I hope Wanda is doing well.
She is. Your
wife, who's a detective or something.
Yeah, she's a homicide detective.
That is crazy. That is also just another crazy aspect of your life that I think we need a whole series about because that is so fucking lesbian.
I know. I'm a social worker and she's a homicide detective, and it's just such a gay situation.
So it's so lesbian. It is so lesbian.
People will comment and be like, "Oh my God, it's the Real Life Fosters." And I never watched that show, but I know it exists.
Show. That's a good show.
I'm like, yeah.
It is. Oh my God, you are. I never thought about that. I love that show. That's a good show. But it's funny when the stereotypes ring true, it's hilarious. Like I've been going to, our District 2 CEC, New York City, this like school board, whatever, has been anti-trans. And so the trans community and the queer community has been showing up and protesting for the past year at these meetings every month, right? So I was just at one last night, and it's just, and I'm just going to do a funny little anecdote. There are so many humans in the audience knitting. It tracks. So hardcore. I mean, not just one person knitting, like so many people are knitting just knitting and then get a backbone. You know what I mean? Like
it's the hard and soft at the same time that kills me.
It is so queer. The knitting is so freaking queer.
That's so funny.
Love it so much. I wanted to reach out and touch a woman's thing that she was making because it looked so soft, but then I was like, it's probably not cool. So
consent.
I didn't. Yeah, consent. It's that wouldn't go over well either in this community. Consent. I didn't tell you could touch it. Yeah. Things track. Things track. Well, this has been awesome. I love you. I love your account. And I like that you make me laugh with your family shenanigans. So keep it going.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you do because you put yourself out there, you get exposure for all of us, and you're doing so much good, even if it is hard to do and not everybody does that. So seriously, you are so appreciated.
Oh, stop. Go on. I know. It's just a love affair over here. Well,
I know.
Okay, this is awesome. Love ya. Mwah.
Love you back.
Queer Family Podcast.
A huge, huge thank you once again to California Cryobank for sponsoring this here little show for an entire year of episodes. Go to cryobank.com, use code LOVEISLOVE, and get a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog. Go do it. Let's make those babies and uplift these queer families, y'all. Thank you.
Love is love.
Whew. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, feel free to listen to another or watch another. I have so many episodes for your listening or viewing pleasure. Just go pick one and enjoy. There's a lot. There really is. And also, if you really do like this show, please, I know I say it all the time, but please do consider supporting the show on Patreon. You're just going to go to patreon.com/The Queer Family Podcast. You're going to pick a tier, you're going to join, and you're going to get that bonus content. And you're also going to get my love and adoration for the rest of my life. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Keep on tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.